video of this. So I'm gonna start this and just kind of go through it. But I want you to have this video of this conversation that way, and you don't have to mention your name. We don't have to do all of that, but we do need to do this where it will benefit you and others. Okay, okay. All right. So we've got you understand how to prep your hair for shampooing. You understand how to and why that's there. You understand how to shampoo your hair, and then you understand about the scalp treatment and why you're using it and your conditioner. I do want to say this two things about the conditioner. Number one, that conditioner is going to be important because the ends, remember the oldest part, the hair close to the scalp is where the tangles will originate, and smoothing it to the crown because you want that heat because the dryers get the hottest in the crown. So you want that heat up there on those ends as it's conditioning. Okay. Now, why are you plussing it? We call this plussing when you see where you have put it on for 10 minutes, then you're going to remove the cap and then you're going to put more on. So we are doing this because what happens to get the optimum penetration of deep conditioning, if you do not apply this on the ends, on the hair close to the scalp, and pull that conditioner upward, what's going to happen, your condition, and then reapply it, your conditioner is only going to go in, and some areas is going to go in further, and but it may need more. Let me explain. When you have the way to get deep conditioning is to pay attention to how your conditioner is absorbing. And it's a quick action. It's just you sitting on the dryer, you got a little hand mirror there, and you just look when you're reapplying it. So what's happening? Have you ever had a conditioner to when you put it on, you the conditioner seems to absorb. Remember we talked about the ends. Like you'll put it on and you'll say, "Wow, it looks like I never put any conditioner on," or it looks like yeah, or it looks like I never it just absorbed it or soaked it up. Well, that's because that hair, that part of the hair, it may be on the ends, it may be on the scalp hair, it may be some other area of the strands, but that part of the hair is just needed more. It needed right. And so that's the reason why it's important to plus let the heat pull it in, medium setting. Warm dryer is medium setting. That gives you about 60 degrees. If you don't, mhm. You bought a bonnet dryer. You wanted to know if the bonnet is fine as long as you're not sleeping in a bonnet. If you put a bonnet on, it's two things the bonnet will cause when you're using one. If you're not sleeping in it, as I said, or it will cause a problem if that bonnet overheats, if it's a dryer bonnet. So it's not a problem. Just pay attention to how hot it's getting. The one thing you don't want to do is sweat while you're in your conditioners. If you sweat while you're in your conditioners, then you're going to start causing your scalp to detox. And then that's going to cause your scalp and hair to get dirty again. So you got this vicious cycle. So long as it's not overheating, you're not sweating, then you're good. And the way to not sweat, because sweat is just the body regulating its temperature, is to just drink some cool water while you're under the dryer. And medium heat is what you need. Medium heat is going to give you about 60 degrees, but some dryers, and bonnet may be a problem. Some dryers, the medium means hot. So, and low means medium. So, what you do is you gauge it. You're fine. A budget is will be fine. I don't want you to rebuy something or have to buy something else. You can do that. Now, I always tell patients you need a regular dryer. Period. I mean, but if you have a bonnet and you've already spent the money on a bonnet, then a bonnet will work. You just have to know the rules. That's all. So it's up to you on that one, okay? But the reason, yes, medium heat. So that's the reason. What we're doing is we're trying to draw that conditioner down into that hair optimum penetration. Because what it's going to do, since it's a cosmetic, it's not a chemical. What it's going to do is just go in and repair cuticle. It's going to go amend mostly, and then it's going to try to push itself against that cortex, which is where most of the repair work is needed. But because you cannot go back and totally fix a cortex, you cannot, because you have to be able to, you have to be a chemical to get in the cortex. You want anything that's open and torn around the cortex is going to get some mending, and that's what you want. That protein that's in your conditioner is going to strengthen that cortex right above it. That moisture that's in your conditioner is going to hydrate that cuticle and the cortex. So you're going to get that hair to bind together where now it's probably not doing that. Okay. And so that's why this plussing is crucially important. Every time you shampoo. This is an outstanding question. So you're wondering how often you should condition. You condition when you shampoo on your rinse in, rinse out conditioner. But when you are every day, they're going to be conditioners we're going to talk about in just a minute. Every day you're going to use those, and we're going to talk about how you use those. But that's an outstanding question, and it's a question where you can get confused. But no, do not start sleeping in your conditioner. Do not start trying to get ahead of the game like, oh, I wonder if I, oh, no. This has been tried, tested, and proven. You don't have to do all the extra, because if you sleep in that conditioner, you're likely to be, because it's real dense, and it's dense because it's trying to really, it's not like the molecular weight is small. So the molecules, if that's how it's such a clean product, the molecules that make that conditioner up are small, and it's going to rinse away easily. But if you sleep in it, or if you leave it on like overnight, or whatever people like to do, or just if you just put it on and not not get on a dryer, two things are going to happen. Number one, if you leave it on and not rinse it out, that what's going to happen, you're going to attract other debris, and it's going to make harder for your other products to get in. If you attract other debris, you may notice your scalp starts to itch, and you're thinking why? Because you've attracted other debris. The other thing is, if you leave it in and you don't rinse it out, what's going to happen, you're going to find a problem with your hair being dry and brittle, because what has happened, you're not able, unless you're on, like your ends probably will do fine, but anything where you're not as porous, you're going to have a problem. So you just want to make sure that you do not do that. Okay. All right. So the next thing, any questions about conditioning? Right. Shampoo, you're going to, every time you shampoo, you're going to condition. Even if, and we haven't talked about this, but even if you say, well, you know what, I need to do a quick fix. I'm working out and I want to, you can run your conditioner through for 60 seconds and then rinse it out. You don't have to sit on the dryer. But you need to sit on the dryer at least, you need to sit on the dryer at least every 4 to 7 days. So around twice a week, when you're really trying to, if you have weak hair and if you're really trying to obtain length. That deep conditioning, the more that conditioner can get on your hair under the dryer, the better for you. And that's really, really important. Okay, so any more questions about um, deep conditioning? Okay, now here's the other thing. When you are rinsing your hair, rinse, making sure you focus on the scalp. If you focus on the scalp, then you know the rest of the hair is going to be rinsed. So open the hair, it depends on how thick and dense your hair is. Open that hair up and try to get down to the scalp, especially rinsing on your hairline. Okay. And then you want towel blot to remove that excess water. It's very important because you want your scalp treatments and the rest of your leave-in products to adhere to the surface of where you're putting it. Okay? All right. So now, first, we're going to talk about scalp treatment number three. Scalp treatment number three is going to be blotted in. Every inch, you're going to blot another drop in, but you want to try to spread it because sometimes it'll go 2 inches. It just depends on how much you're blotting and how it runs. So if you put one drop on and you follow that drop running, sometimes it will. That's why I say start in the center of the forehead, and I never. Sometimes we don't have space to put it on the program, but I'm saying I would start right in the top, and then I would go to my left or right, and then blot all the way down until I'm all the way to the down to the end. And then I would look, and then I would take another about an inch or more, and I will put another drop. And it may not take, depending on how small your face is, it may not take but 2 drops blotting, long as you blot them. And I will blot up into that hairline because most of this, and I have not done an analysis on you, but most of this is coming from traction. You mentioned you wore box braids, and a lot of this may be just coming from that traction. We don't know for sure, but if there's traction, this is probably doing these treatments at home is probably going to help that hair to emerge a lot faster. With that being said, you want to do that now after your scalp treatment is done, then you're ready to start to layer your leave-in products. The first leave-in products is called ends. Get the length ends, and that's because we want to make the ends cause that hairline to obtain length. There are two things that we're thinking about as relates to your hairline. One, your hairline may have some density inconsistencies, which mean that your hairline may be thinning because you have some blockages or some traction alopecia, which is from pulling from the braids. The second thing is your hairline is short and broken. So when you look at your hairline and you put your finger across it, you can feel those short little hairs. So with that, yes, with that, that's what we assumed. So with that, what we did was put ends. This is called ends. The scalp treatment is for the balding, the thinning, the hair that is not emerging. And again, if it's persistent, we really do need to have an exam. But I really believe this is going to work based on how many patients we've worked with and they've had analysis and spent the money to go through their treatments. What we found is when they do what they're supposed to do, they still do well, even though they haven't had the in clinic treatments. Because what we try to do is tailor a lot of this, even though we're not using the exact same products that we use in the clinic. If they are not a severe case, then they usually do well. And what we felt is that you were probably not as extreme based on our conversation with you. So we're going to try it this way first, okay? So with that, what you're going to do is take a blot of that ends and put it on your forefinger and thumb and rub them together. Once you do that, You're going to take and you're going to grab those little short ends on the hairline, and you're going to slide from the base of that little short area all the way out the end. So you're going to, just like you're pinching, you're going to pinch up some hair, and then you're going to slide straight down. And you're going to keep doing that till all the ends are covered. And this can be used on any area that you're trying to get length. It can be used around your entire perimeter if there's short hairs on the nape or over the ears. It can be used on the ends of the longer hair, but you just end up using a lot more if you're, because the length is going to be gotten on those other areas pretty easily if you follow your program. But sometimes on those short hairline hairs, we need a little bit more of a dense type substance, and that's what the ends does. It's sticky, kind of dense, and so basically it's going to seal those splits, those torn, worn splits on the ends of those short hairs. It's going to seal them, and then you're going to be able to uh, uh, get some length, because every part of that strand that does not break away is going to obtain length. Does that make sense? Because what you're looking at is you're trying to grow hair, increase the density on the bald areas, and then you're also trying to get long hair on the areas that are not bald, they're just short and broken. So we have to go through that whole process. Okay? The ends and the scalp number 3. You're going to get your daily steps in just a second, okay? Hold on. Okay, so yes, but to answer that question, you will be using the ends and you will be using the scalp treatment daily. Now, I know you're young, and a lot of young folks, they like to say, okay, let's move it on. I got it. But you sometimes you don't got it. It's okay. It's no worries. It's no worries. Just don't get ahead of yourself, because you'll forget, we'll miss something. Okay, so now your leave-in products. So you've got these two on. You've got your scalp. You've rinsed your conditioner off. You've shampooed your hair. You rinsed your conditioner off, and now you did your scalp treatment. You did your ends, and now you're ready for the next product, which is your hair vitamin. Once you put your hair vitamins on, you remember how you put your conditioner on. Your hair vitamins is going on the same way. It's going to go on the ends. It's going to go on the hair close to the scalp. And then you're going to do the same thing with the moisturizer. It's going to go on your ends. It's going to go the hair close to the scalp. And then you're going to slide your fingers throughout. Not necessarily massage rubbing, but so just kind of, well, let's just take this and say slide throughout instead of saying rubbing. Let's see if we can. The Moisture Plus on. Yes, you're going to put the hair vitamin on. After the hair vitamin is your Moisture Plus. Absolutely. Okay, so make sure where it says massage throughout, just say slide throughout. Slide fingers throughout. Okay, now you're using your forefinger and thumb, and you're gently sliding down the strands. And what's going to happen? A couple of things. It's wonderful. A couple of things. You're going to remove any tangles that you might have messed up when you're shampooing. You're going to make sure that all the strands are covered, because this is how you want to look at your product application. You want to have what we call PPPPED. You want to have product with purpose. I'm using these products because I need them, and this, so I have a purpose for using them. You want PP product placement. You want to place every part of your strand that does not get product is going to have a problem with it not benefiting from that product. Okay? So keep that in mind. Product placement. And then even distribution. You gotta have it from the ends of that hair, scalp, and then down that strand. So that's why I always say ear to ear, front to back. So when I apply my products at night, or a conditioner, I'm always going from one side of my head all the way over to the other side, and I'm going back, over, back, over, back. So I'm going from the front of my head to the back of my head, and I'm making my way over to the, if I'm at the right ear, I'm making my way over to the left ear. Got it? And that's what you do. And then finally, you just want to seal with your oil sheen in the jar. I would do on my shampoo day, I would oil my scalp while my hair is wet. When I finish the, okay, I'm gonna get you the holds because they need me at the front desk. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Now, sorry about that. Okay. So with that, let's see. We talked about the even. Oh, you want to seal in your moisture. So you're hydrated your hair all the way from you've shampooed, you conditioned, you've done all these wonderful things. Now you put your vitamins, your scalp treatments, your ends, and your hair vitamins and your moisturizer. What you want is to seal it. The reason why some people who have porosity issues, that's where they put on product and they seem to absorb, they have that problem because their products was not sealed. Because you are, until you are able to obtain and then retain your moisture levels, then you should always use oil. So you're right now, it seems like you're using a lot of product, and wow, why do I have to do all this? But what happens is you are in a form of treatment. So you're trying to stabilize your strands. You're trying to stabilize your hairline. So that's why you're having to do these extras. Soon, when we get into maintenance, that's why those cyber consultations are important. So each part you're stabilizing now, then you're going to get a maintenance prevention. That's when you need a cyber consultation so you can say, okay, what do I do next? But okay, let's continue. So you're sealing, you're going to oil your scalp while your hair is wet because that's going to seal and make sure your hair does not dry out. You probably, unless you have some major scalp issues or you have problems with itchy scalp or your scalp drying out really quick, usually this time of year, if it's summer, it won't. In the winter, you tend to have more problems with the drying out. The once a week when you shampoo or twice a week when you shampoo will be good enough. Then after that, you can use a large tooth comb if you like, but you just don't ever want to remove tangles with a comb. Always let your products lead. What I mean by that is there's a video, a detangling video. Did you get that video? Did you look online and did you see any of our perfect? That's what you do. You allow the product to remove the tangles. Combing is for grooming purposes. That's it. So if you say, well, I want to comb through so I can just smooth my hair so I can twist it or plait it, then that's fine. But if not, then you don't need a comb at all. Do not use a comb. Haven't used one in years. So it's important because I use my human comb. Your human comb is your fingers. What I like to do is press that in, press the products in. Once I've got the even distribution product placement and I purposely put these products on, then I'm ready to start twisting because there's no tangles. I use my human comb, I slide straight through. I don't have any tangles, but you've seen the video. Okay, so that's pretty much what you're going to do. And then you have to decide, am I going to twist my hair, plait my hair, wear a wig, all of that. You do not have to wear a wig. But if you are going to have style become an issue, that means I don't like my hair, you're in the mirror, doesn't make sense. They're beautiful wigs. They're online. You can get them anywhere, cheap, expensive, whatever you want. Take your pick. As long as you're not gluing anything to your head or your hairline or any of that. As long as you wear a treatment turban, and I mentioned that we have those at the institute. So that's one thing you can purchase. You can call and say, hey, I want to run by and get a turban, and you can get that turban. Or if you want to, you can order it And I don't know if we have them listed online, but if not, you can actually call, and then they can still ship it to you, send it to you. But it's best to, if you're local, to just pick it up. It's easy peasy. But the reason why I say turban, if you decide to wear a wig, and we're going to talk about wig or not wig, but the reason I say if you decide to wear a wig, wear the turban is because you need something to protect your scalp and strands from that inside of that wig fiber. And so that's going to why the turban is important. Now it's also important to clean. I mentioned that something else I think I want to say, but that's okay. I also want I mentioned in this program is cleaning. If you're going to clean your wig, and if you're going to wear a wig, you have to clean the inside. Inside nightly. That means you're just going to drop shampoo, one drop of shampoo. You're going to rub that shampoo in, rub that shampoo out with a towel, and then a small face towel. And then you're going to rinse that towel, and you're going to rub that shampoo out, as I mentioned. And then you can spray the inside with alcohol, and then that's it. Okay. But if you're going to, that's if you're going to shampoo it. When you shampoo it, I have those instructions at the bottom under instructions for shampooing. But if you are going to nightly, you just need to spray the inside. If you see some debris, makeup, or something, yeah, you can wipe that out. But spray that alcohol, it'll kill whatever bacteria is in there. That's all you need to worry about. Now, if you're going to just wear your own hair, just wear plaits. Wear something, you can even do a twist out. But remember, if you do a twist out, you are going to have a problem if you start to tangle and you start practicing detangling. You don't want to create a tangle, so you do not have to remove one. So that would be my recommendation. Right. And what you were experiencing, I'm so glad that you shampooed and you didn't have any tangles because you followed the instructions. Great. But what you were doing, you weren't shedding, you were breaking in the past. You were literally pushing and pulling that hair beyond its appropriate elasticity. And it was just breaking. But most people, because shedding is a normal, natural process that we all go through the hair growth process. But breakage is not normal or natural, and that's why we can't get long hair as a lot of women, especially women of color. So, did you have any questions about your program? Right. When your question was about the oil sheen in the jar. When you put the oil sheen in jar on your scalp while the hair is wet, and it's really while the hair has had time to, it's still a little bit moist. That's really what's happening. You've already put all your products on. The hair is just moist. So what you're doing, the epidermis, your skin, can hold about 20% of its weight in moisture. So putting that oil on there seals that moisture. Because if you ever wash your face, when you wash your face, and you're young, but when you wash your face, sometimes if you when you touch it, it feels moist. But when if you just let it dry, it just seems to dry out. That's why so many people moisturize and use oil. But if they use an oil on it right after while it's moist, then it will seal in that own natural moisture. And that's what you're looking for with your scalp. And also with your hair. While all those products that you put in, that vitamin, that moisturizer, it's going to seal all that in. Plus, all the benefits you got from your conditioner is going to be sealed in. So it's pretty cool. It's really great. Okay, so if you had, do you have any other questions? what I want to add is that you have negative buildups and positive buildups. A positive buildup says, okay, I'm putting this buildup on long as this product rinses clean and it won't solidify. That means you don't turn into a negative buildup. A negative buildup, you know how when you use gels and mousse and all these, you put them on, and when you can never get the squeaky clean when you shampoo because they're solidifying. The danger to that is they will solidify on the scalp and on the hair. And if they solidify on the scalp and hair, you got a problem. Because if they solidify, it could create a blockage around your mouth of the follicle. If they solidify on the hair, it could cause a problem with your other conditioners that could benefit you not getting in. Okay. On your nightly use, it says each night you're going to blot your scalp treatment before you go to bed. You're going to apply your moisturizer, and then you're going to oil. Now you're going to oil because you on your ends. You notice I didn't say oil scalp. And then you're going to tie it down. Now you can do this if you already have plaits. You can put them right on top of the plaits. You can even add the hair vitamins if you like. But what you're going to need based on what our conversation with you is, the main thing we need to focus on are your ends and keeping your moisture level up. And if you're shampooing every 4 to 7 days and you're using these nightly, you will be okay. But if you find yourself where, oh my goodness, my hair breaks a lot, so you need to make sure that you're using the vitamin, moisture, and then oil. And that's every night. Now, when you get up in the morning, if you're going to retwist or reverse the twist and you're not going to wear the wig, then at that point, you can just take your fingers, put oil on your fingers, reverse it, but make sure some of that oil is going on that strand. Because why? That oil sheen in the jar, that was the thing I needed to remember to tell you. The oil sheen in the jar is going to give shine, and it's going to continue to seal in that moisture. You don't have to put it on in the morning, the moisture on in the morning. You don't have to put the vitamin on in the morning. But I would take my fingers, oily fingers, and reverse the hair. Yes, with on the fingers, and you're just going to take your oily fingers and reverse the hair.